Hi everyone, it's Lynn Dion from Pink Whisper Designs. Today I want to do kind of a part two to a video I just recently did, and I will link that video down below for you. But basically it was Hero Arts products. I used the Hero Arts layering stencil, just like we're going to do today with the snowflakes, and we used some Hero Arts rub-ons, and we did a really pretty vellum overlay. So let me show you the two cards that we made in the previous video, and again I will link those down below for you if you're interested in checking those out. And you can see for these we did a complete vellum overlay over the top of the entire card. But today we're going to just add a vellum strip on each of the cards. So let's go ahead and take a look at the layering stencil set from Hero Arts. And this one is called the Snowflake stencil. And there are 4 stencils in this set, which is really nice because you really get some fun layering. You can do any combination of colors that you like, and you do have a little registration mark on each of these stencils, and they are clearly labeled in the corners as to what stencil you're working with. And I'm trying to get the light on there so that you can see they're labeled 1, 2, 3, and 4. So let's go ahead and die cut a panel for this. I'm using the Hero Arts Infinity dies, and I'll use that second largest one. And I've got some Strathmore Bristol Smooth 100-pound cardstock. I'll run that through the die cutting machine, and then let's grab that first stencil and we'll line it up. I'm using my Wendy Becky Make Art Station to line these up. I'm using the grid lines, but you can certainly use those little registration marks if you prefer. For inks, I'm using the Hero Hues Core inks, and I'm going to grab 4 different colors for these snowflakes. And again, we'll do 2 different cards using the same colors this time: Periwinkle, Summer Sky, Deep Ocean, and Paradise. And here on the back of that packaging, you see what each of the stencils will complete. So it's easy to kind of figure out which colors you want to choose first. So starting with that darkest blue, the Deep Ocean, and a small Hero Arts blending brush, I'm going to go ahead and start stenciling over the top of this. So I'm just going quickly. I don't need it to be completely even. I just want to get a nice coating of ink over the entire top of the stencil. Now in the previous video, what I did was I used white cardstock for both of my panels and just changed out the ink colors. What I wanted to show you in this video is I'm going to do the opposite. I'm going to use a white panel and a blue panel, but the inks will remain the same, whereas in the last one I changed out the ink colors and kept the paper white. So hopefully that's kind of clear to you, but you'll see the difference. You can get some really unique looks. So the second stencil I've placed down, I'm selecting the Summer Sky. Now again, you want to make sure you line it up exactly the same. So I'm using those grid lines on my Wendy Becky Make Art Station. And you'll see later on I'm going to put a little post-it tape in the corner so that when I do my second set of stenciling, it will be lined up exactly the same way this one was, just so that I could show you exactly how they look different with the different papers and the same exact stenciling. So now stencil number 3, again lining that up on the grid. And then for this one, I'm going to use the Periwinkle. So just a combination of blues to create my snowflakes. And like I said, with this 4 layering system, you really get some beautiful color combinations. You could certainly do really bright colors, just have fun with this, but I thought it would be pretty to keep it in the blues. And then for those first cards, the Poinsettia cards that I did in that first video, I used a vellum overlay technique that laid over the entire card. For this one, we're going to use just a vellum strip across the center of the card, because it's always kind of difficult to find ways to hide the adhesive. So that's what I wanted to show you, a couple different ways that you can use the vellum but keep the adhesive hidden. So now for that last color, I'm going to take the Paradise which is kind of more of a greenish blue, more in the turquoise family or a minty color. And then we'll add that all over. So this goes really quickly, really easy to do. And as I mentioned in the video with the poinsettia, if you're not really into coloring, these layering stencils make your life so much easier. Don't have to worry about coloring. You're just going to go ahead and layer on these colors. So here's where you'll see, before I lift up this panel, I'm just taking my Post-it tape and I'm placing it on that grid just so I know exactly where the bottom right-hand corner of this panel is, so that I can recreate this for you on another piece of cardstock. And look at this. This is just absolutely gorgeous. I love it so much. And then I'm going to take a piece of Hero Arts cardstock, and I'll list and link those colors down for you, that color down below for you as well. And I'm going to run that through the die cutting machine. Again, grabbing that second largest die from the Hero Arts die set. And you can see that I'm positioning it in that right hand corner, just like we did the other one. And then I'll place the stencil number 1 back on. I didn't need to clean this because we're going to use the same color combination. So again, if you're doing a mass producing cards, this is a really easy way to do it. You don't even have to clean off the stencils in between. Just go back to that same color combination and start applying your colors. So this is the deep ocean again, just like we did on the first card. But you're going to see on this blue cardstock, it really gives it an interesting look. It's almost a little bit more elegant. I really liked it. I even think a gray cardstock would be really pretty, or a creamy color. And if you were going to change out your colors maybe to some pinks and reds, it'd be pretty on a dusty pink cardstock as well. So have some fun playing around with this. I really did. I really enjoyed the process on both of these videos. And then back to the summer sky to do the second stencil. And do keep in mind that all the products I'm using today are listed and linked down below and also on my blog. And also keep in mind with these stencils, you could certainly add some texture paste over the top. Some clear glittery texture paste would be really pretty, but you would need to let it dry in between each of your stencils. So you'd want to make sure that you applied it and then let it dry. But if you are doing a mass producing technique, you could certainly easily do that. Just set them aside and let them dry. But I decided not to get involved in that today. Just wanted to show you how simple and easy these were to use. But we can take it to the next level by adding the vellum, because vellum always to me adds a really elegant touch to anything that you're doing. So let's go to the last stencil, again back to the Paradise, and add that really pretty minty green color. So let's go ahead and remove that stencil and take a look at that finished card. I love that look on the blue. It's so pretty, and look how different they are. Same exact stenciling, same exact colors, but they look totally different. So I've got the Hero Arts Hero Transfers. These are rub-ons, and you get this whole collection of them. I use this same set for that first set of cards I did with the poinsettia. These are the Christmas messages from Hero Arts. So I grabbed a couple different sentiments from there. You just want to cut those out with your scissors. And for this one, it will say sending warm wishes. And I'm using that kind of like that teal blue color, I think, or that kind of dusty blue color. I think that'll go really well with the cards that we have. So I'm going to use that ball end of my stylus tool to rub that out, but it does come with a popsicle stick that you can also use to rub that out. The set does come with that popsicle stick, but I'm just going to use my little stylus tool, and then I'm going to line up the wishes right underneath, and again I'm just pressing that down. I did find that the transfer onto vellum was a little bit faster than it is on regular cardstock, so that went very quickly. So you just want to check it when you're pulling it up, just to make sure everything is attached. If not, you can always go back, just lay it right back down and place your stylus over top again until you get there. And it, like I said, on the vellum, it went quite quickly. So look how pretty that is. Now what I wanted to do was just tear this. I didn't want that nice straight line. I kind of just wanted to get a little bit of a ruffled edge. So that's why I'm going back and forth. I'm tearing towards me and away from me. I always find that gives me a little bit more of a ruffled look, a little bit more of a distressed look, if you will. And then I'm going to just wrap this right around the cardstock. So that vellum is a little bit wider than the card panel that you're creating. So you want to have maybe an extra inch on each side so that you have plenty of room to wrap that around to the back. I just placed some scrapbook.com double-sided tape on there, and I'm going to go ahead and wrap that. And you don't need to score it or anything. The vellum folds very easily. So I'll wrap that around. Let me remove that backing. Now I have used this technique in the past on some cards, but I really think it works well with the vellum. It gives you a really soft look, and again, you cannot see the adhesive. So here I was just trying to decide whether I wanted it to go on white or on that really pretty kind of deep sea color. And again, that cardstock is also from Hero Art, so I will try to list that for you below as long as it is available. If not, I will list something similar to it. I've got my Nuvo Deluxe adhesive, and I'm going to go ahead and glue these two together. That larger panel is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, so it'll fit on our standard A2 size side folding card, and that's just from some white Strathmore Bristol Smooth cardstock. So I'll just go ahead and attach these two together. I just wanted the inside of the card to be white. It's just a little easier for signing and whatnot. So this will fit right over the top. Just using the table to line that up nicely. And then I've got the Hero Hues Enamel Dots. These are the clear. And you do get 3 different sizes in these, which I really love because I just like the look of that variety when you're placing these little gems on your cards. So I've got a small, medium, and large, and I'll just kind of randomly place these around the sentiment. And then I will go ahead and add a few into the centers of some of those snowflakes. And this will just give a little bit of interest again and dimension. So there I'm going to just place one in the center of a few of these snowflakes. So for the next card, let's grab another piece of vellum. Again, this is maybe about 5 inches by about 2 3/4 inch. Just make it as wide as you need to fit the sentiment that you've selected. And again, enough room to wrap it around to the back of your card panel. So I'm going to go back to that stylus tool and just press that out. And this one was nice. It was just all one piece. It was all together on the transfer sheet. So I just grabbed the whole thing as one piece. And then I'm just going to use my Cricut weaving tool just to pick that up. Again, I'm just going kind of gently just to make sure everything is attached before I really aggressively pull that up. I just want to make sure everything is attached nicely to the vellum. So once we have that done, we can go ahead and tear those edges again. And again, I like to go towards me and away from me. And then we'll add some adhesive to the back of that panel. And I thought the red for this one, I thought it would really pop against those blues. I just thought it would be so pretty. Now with the other one, we stuck with the kind of blue tone to go with it. But for this one, I thought I really wanted to get a little pop of color. And I really love how this turned out with this bright red. So we'll wrap that around. Let's remove that backing. We can attach that. And again, no need to score the vellum or anything. It easily wraps around to the back. And now that vellum, that tape is nicely hidden. Let's go ahead and add some of that glue. And here's the red card panel I'm going to attach this to. Again, I wanted the card inside to be white, so I'm just going to center this on this red card. And again, that's 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. Will fit perfectly on the front of our card. So that brings it a little bit more of that really pretty red color. And then what you can do is grab those Hero Arts transfers and finish off the insides. For the poinsettia cards, I just grabbed some of the sentiments from the transfer sheets and I placed them on the inside of the card as well. So later on, I'll do that with these. I've really been trying to finish off the insides of the cards, so when I reach for a card, it's already complete. All I have to do is sign that. And then I've got some really pretty sparkly paper, and I'll link that below for you too. And I'm going to die cut some snowflakes. I'll show you in a second where these snowflakes came from, but first I'm going to run those through my Spellbinders Platinum Scout machine. And I wanted to show you, these are from Art Impressions. You get that really pretty snowflake frame and the little snowflakes as well. So I die cut a bunch of these out of that sparkly cardstock, and I'm going to attach these to the vellum. And this looks really pretty. It really made everything pop. I really love how this looks. It gives a little bit more sparkle, just kind of finishes things off. And then let's add a few to this blue card. And what's pretty is you get a nice selection of the snowflakes in that set. And that coordinating frame is really pretty. I've used that a lot. It really frames things nicely. It's great for making little shaker cards and things as well. So now I've got the Hero pearls in the white, and I thought I would put a little pearl in the center of each of my snowflakes. Again, just adding a little bit more dimension. So let's take a look at the finished cards. And what's really nice, I think, when you're making something like this that's really easy to do, to mass produce, you could also make a set of these for a friend. What I like to do is make a whole set. You could vary up the colors and then add the envelopes and a pen and some postage, and it does make a nice gift as well. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please hit the like button and subscribe. And don't forget to hit that notification bell so that you don't miss a single video. Thanks as always for joining me today. I really do appreciate it, and I hope you all have a great day. Take care. Bye-bye.